Hi, Tori. It's Katie again. Diane is still here, and now we have another dear, wonderful friend who's a very experienced teacher, Connie Weber, who's waving to you. And I've read your email to Connie as well, and they're reflecting a bit on how they would answer this even further. So, in terms of building children's stamina, depth of thought, being able to reflect, what was the idea you were just talking about, creating a reflective experience?
So I should start.
Yes.
And I teach fifth graders, so I was trying to think of how I build up their capacity to stay with something for a while. And I thought, well, I often start with the research with them and talk about what current studies are saying about how you create a focus. And I wanted to go to this Zen place where you feel like time is meaningless. It's passing. It's you're in the moment so much you forget that you're thinking or doing or working because you're so involved in what you're doing. And then the kids said to me, "Oh, you mean to get in the zone?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about how do you get in the zone?"
So how would you get in the zone if you're a first grader?
And that's what I was asking Diane.
Okay, so this idea of getting into a reflective space or a zone. Okay.
And so I think with a first grader, you can't start by the talking piece. You have to give them the experience. So I might set up a moment where they get to actually experience something that's a little bit different. You're trying to shift their experience into, let's just start with the soundscape of the environment. And so instead of the talking about, we're just going to be doing, you might suggest. And they might still get to choose clay or paint or drawing or whatever it may be, whatever kind of medium you want them working with. So it's hands-on, it's active, it's engaging and attractive to them. They get to choose, so they're, empowered to make their own choice. But it's quiet. You might say, our soundscape today is going to be music. And so then you give them a short period of time to be able to get involved.
Into it.
So I might be playing with clay.
You might be playing with clay. And as a
picture.
teacher, I might say, I really want to study what it looks like when first graders.
Oh yes,
Right?
yes. Because
Are
then
involved.
yes.
So then I
That's
take
very
my
important.
iPad and I document what it is bodies look like, what they sound like, and then reflect on that as a whole class. Ask the children to notice. What do you notice? Did you notice this smile? Did you notice how intently somebody was focused in on their work? And so then you start to label what it means.
And see, by doing this, you're creating value. You're saying, I as a teacher value this. Look, it's so important to me that I want to ask you to talk about it. I want to take pictures of you doing this. So, yeah.
And so
Setting it up.
in Tori's case, this is her mentor teacher's classroom. So are you thinking that she could do this in the period of lead teaching in small instances, like 10 minutes here, or could it be done in short periods?
Maybe it's the way that she could initiate the choice time, so that you start with this kind of work, and maybe you're then one person at a time. You can stay here, and just with a touch, they can then go off and choose their other activity. And so you're releasing them in a way that allows for, and then you build the time that they're involved in that.
So it's a way to transition from being a whole group.
But I think it's important that you come back to it and you study what that is and articulate why it's valuable, how it feels.
And what it does to your mind and how your mind is actually able to think in a much more clear manner.
To help them to be metacognitive about their own.
Yes, but I'm thinking now, this is mindfulness. It's clear and simple mindfulness. And there are some really good resources on mindfulness now.
Yeah, it's coming out very strongly that it's got deep implications.
So I
a
do
couple
have
articles.
a whole set of references.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to send them to Tori?
Yeah.
Okay. Any more?
I would just say building that vocabulary.
Actually teaching words to be able to label.
Yes, and building the oral language. In first grade, it's really being able to get that oral language expanded as well.
Could you give an example of that?
Yeah.
So,
Of the language.
I mean, I think you can ask somebody how they feel about that. I noticed this smile on your face. I noticed you were really looking carefully. you know, and you say, you know, how did you feel when you were working in that way? They may not have vocabulary to articulate how that makes them feel. So just building the opportunity, asking the questions and reflecting. So they might say, happy. You're going to hear
Relaxed.
happy 25 times.
Relaxed.
You know.
Something that means engaged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And would you write those words down for them somewhere and post them up?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.